Hi, in this video I'll demonstrate how to remove the screen here on a Mazda CX-60. The very first step is to disconnect the negative from the battery. To disconnect the battery on this vehicle is here in the corner. This is the passenger side because this is a right-hand side drive vehicle. Alright, so these actually go clockwise to unscrew them, and then I lift this slightly and then pull it towards me. Here is the battery. Now I just need to loosen the negative. You just need to have a long extension arm, get it all the way in there onto the negative, rotate this a few times and then pull this out. So I've just loosened that nut over there. I have not removed the nut completely, I don't need to. So I'm going to lift this terminal off. There it is, and I'm going to get my hand from the side here. So the negative has been lifted, and I just usually wrap it so that it cannot touch this chassis. All right, so you've got to start here with this plastic grill. You've got to remove this. There are two screws here which are holding the screen in place. You just need to insert your pry tool here on the side, anywhere on the side or anywhere on that side. If you haven't got a pry tool, you can use a screwdriver and wrap it in a cloth. Here's a screwdriver, and I wrap it in a cloth so as to not damage the dash. So I just take this on the side, depress it, put it underneath the plastic and gently lift. Now I take my hand and I grab it underneath here and just lift all the push pins on the sides. And there I've removed the panel. Notice there are many attachment points on this fitting. And now we've got access to these two screws which need to be loosened. This is a size 10. Right, now come to the front portion of the dash. To remove this entertainment screen here, we need to first start by removing this panel over here. Start at this corner over here. This whole thing has to be pulled towards you, and along the travel here there are attachment points and they all have to be lifted towards you. This whole piece is going to come out with the vent, so try not to bend it down. You just want to take it towards you. Of course you should use pry tools, but I'm just going to use a screwdriver. What I do is I just take my screwdriver and I wrap it in cotton shirt just so that it doesn't scuff the panel here. I'm going to get my screwdriver here in between because this part's going to come out. And while I get my screwdriver here, I'm actually using my nails here and my fingers to actually pull all towards me. So there's a bit of space here on the side and I'm actually pulling towards me. So there we go. So that's what I'm talking about. This is separating already, and all I need to do is just use my nails and put them in there and then just pull this towards me. So as I wedge my screwdriver here, notice how it has actually released those pins on the side there, and now I can start loosening along here. Alright, so I'm going to open the glove box to give me some grip over here, because now it has opened here and it has definitely opened here. So there underneath it's coming loose. So this whole section here has actually already come loose, and as I go along here I take my fingers and I'm pulling towards me. Not too firmly, just a little bit. So I'm now taking my fingers underneath and then on top here, and I'm just guiding it. Look at this. There we go. One. Alright, just to show you the attachment point there, there's another one there, there's one there, there's one there, and another one there by the emergency, another one there, and now I'm coming to the start-stop button. There are also attachment points underneath here. Right, before I loosen it at the end, there is a wire here that is quite tight. So I'm going to loosen this wire right now. So I just put my screwdriver in here and I wedge it there, and that loosens this. So I've loosened this wire here, so this can now move. Alright, so over here I'm also going to pull it towards me, but I'm going to hold it and support it here with my hand while I loosen this. So there's an attachment point there, and I just do that, and there's one underneath, and there it comes out. Now be very careful because of the wire here. So that's what it looks like. I just loosened that so it gives me some free play here, and notice here at the end how the vent is protruded. That's why I said don't bend it while you're pulling this out. Alright, so I don't need to unplug anything, but I can even flip this and let it rest on the floor. Alright, to remove the screen, I've just got two screws, one there and one there. So I can remove those screws quickly. So it's two star screws. When you're removing the screws, just be very careful not to drop the screws down in the vent here. Now I just need to pull this towards me. So I go like that, and there the screen can come out. Just be careful, there's a wire attached to the back. To fully remove the screen, I need to remove these four connectors. The wire is at the back here, I just have to release it. I'm just flipping this the other way around. And I just take my pliers and pinch the sides of this fastener here. And that allows this to pop out. So now I can flip this back, rotate it, and I can just disconnect each one of these connectors. I just depress the lever, 1, 2, and these last two just need to be squeezed. So I just take my hand here, I squeeze it, and there it can come out. That's one. And this blue one over here, I also need to just pinch it and lift. You have to press on that thing. And then here is the screen. Right, once you have the screen in hand, you just need to remove this bracket. It is a size T10, so you'll need to remove these screws which hold this plastic bracket on. Once you've removed the 4 screws, you can remove this entire bracket. And there is the screen. You can also remove these in order to replace your screen. There are 3 Torx screws there. Right, when you have your replacement screen, you just need to fit the bracket. Notice there are 4 screws there, but this fits to the sides. Even though it could seat like that, that is incorrect. So it has to seat like that. So it sits like that. Now I just need to tighten these 3 screws. Right, so notice that orientation. Now I can fit the main bracket. The main bracket is going to go like this. So it's going to sit like this. Now, what you need to look out for is that. Notice how it clears this side here. If you put this bracket incorrectly to the side, it will block here. So it goes like that. All the screws have now lined up. There's a screw hole there and one there. So there are 4 screws that need to put this bracket back together. They're quite long, these screws. Now in this unit, I noticed there's a bit of a rattle here if I tap here. So I'm just going to put some tape here just to dampen that. So I'm just putting some tape here and I'm just going to feed it in there. Right, now it's not rattling here anymore. Right, now to replace the screen, I'm just going to flip it up and quickly plug in all the connectors. Now the last thing is this fastener over here. It just goes into this hole over there. Right, the cables are now in place, and now note that protrusion over there, and there's one over here, and there's a hole there and a hole there. So this is going to slide in like this. So I'm sliding it in. Now it's not fitting quite right, so I'm just going to have a look at the cables at the back if anything is being squashed. Right, there we go. So the cable at the back was being squashed. There is a place to feed it. There is like a little hook at the back where the cable goes into. So now it's sitting perfectly. So now all I need to do is screw in these screws. Now there are 2 screws that go at the top of the screen. So just remember to insert these 2 screws. And I just need to return this cover. Notice there is this gap here. That is by design. Okay, so I'm returning this panel here. The first step is to just clamp this wire. I loosened this wire in order to give me some free play here. So now I just need to put the wire back in this little loop here. Okay, so the wire is now strapped and now I can just feed this into the right place. Note how I feed this in. I go horizontally. All right, so I'm going to press here from the center and I'm going to use a balanced hand and it's going in. Right, so you want to see that it is flush. Looking at the top, it is flush. Right, to reconnect the battery, so I just get the negative terminal in my hand. I now feed it at the back there. It will spark. Try to get it on the terminal in one shot without bouncing it on the terminal. So there it's not quite seated properly, so I have to push it all the way down. And there it is now seated properly, so I can tighten it. Tighten it to about 8 to 10 Newton meters. You can use a torque wrench. And there it is tightened onto the negative terminal. Notice the negative terminal is protruding slightly. Now on this cover there are 2 fingers. The one goes there and the one goes there. There are arrows showing you where those fingers align. So notice how I slide it in and then down. And now I just turn these anti-clockwise to lock it. Check that the emergency lights are working. They are, I can hear them. And check over here, it is all flush. Check the start stop. Yes. There we can see it is functioning, so everything here is working correctly. Make sure the screen is working, the radio, go through your settings.